Good YouTube, it's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, in recent news, undefeated WBC lightweight world champion, superstar boxer Devin "The Dream" Haney, 27 wins, no losses, no draws, 15 wins by way of knockout, 23 years of age, 5'8" with a 72-inch arm reach. The last time we saw him in the ring was December 4th of 2021 when he took on and defeated former IBF super featherweight world champion Mexican superstar boxer Joseph Jojo Diaz, in which Devin Haney, he won a unanimous decision in Las Vegas, Nevada at the MGM Grand Garden Arena. With that said, a week prior to that, another fighter was in action in newly crowned, unified lightweight world champion, Australian star boxer George Kambosos Jr. 20 wins, no losses, no draws, 10 wins by way of knockout. He is 28 years of age, 5'9.5" with a 70-inch arm reach. He took on former unified lightweight world champion, superstar boxer Teofimo Lopez, in which George Kambosos Jr. he shocked the world. He beat Teofimo Lopez via split decision, dropping Teofimo Lopez in the first round, facing adversity himself in the 10th round, getting dropped, getting up, gaining control of the fight in the 11th and 12th round, and ultimately winning the fight. Shockingly, he was the underdog in this fight, and he got the shocking victory over Teofimo Lopez. With that said, the boxing fans in the boxing world felt it was automatic that we were going to see George Kambosos Jr. take on Devin Haney in an undisputed match. As George Kambosos himself, he stated that that was the goal, that was the plan, to face off against Devin Haney in a massive undisputed showdown. His only demand was that the fight take place in the Down Under, as he called it, back home in Australia, okay? And so with that said, there's been a lot of contradiction going on, a lot of back and forth, and two-time Olympic gold medalist, three-division world champion, former unified lightweight world champion, Ukrainian superstar boxer Vasily Lomachenko, 16 wins, 2 losses, no draws, 11 wins by way of knockout. Lomachenko, 33 years of age, 5'6" with a 66-inch arm reach. He re-entered the conversation to face off against George Kambosos Jr. after he defeated former IBF lightweight world champion, star boxer Richard Commey via unanimous decision. Okay, now what's interesting to note is that Teofimo Lopez, he beat Lomachenko for the unified titles. Then George Kambosos beat Teofimo Lopez for the unified titles. So it made sense that we know Teofimo Lopez, he came face to face with Devin Haney. They went back and forth, and they verbally agreed to, after Teofimo Lopez IBF mandatory showdown with George Kambosos Jr., once he's victorious, he was going to fight Devin Haney in a massive undisputed match. Well, that even his promoter, legendary promoter, top-ranked CEO and promoter Bob Arum, had no interest in taking, but Teofimo Lopez Sr. and Teofimo Lopez Jr., they were in cahoots with Matchroom CEO and promoter Eddie Hearn to stage a fight on DAZN. Eddie Hearn, he told Teofimo Lopez, well, if you can't come to an agreement with Bob Arum and your promoter doesn't want to stage the fight, then we'll gladly pick up the fight and we'll pay for it out of our own pockets, but we'll gladly make the fight happen, okay? And so with that said, George Kambosos Jr., he responded to the verbal agreement between the two, and he stated, well, you don't have to worry about any games being played with me. I'm going to agree to the fight. I'm going to take the fight after I beat Teofimo Lopez. Well, now his attention, his promoter Lou DiBella, they decided to turn their attention to Vasily Lomachenko. And now was being reported today that Vasily Lomachenko had agreed and signed a contract for a 2-fight deal to face George Kambosos Jr. in Australia. After Lou DiBella, George Kambosos Jr. promoter, he initially stated a few days after George Kambosos beat Teofimo Lopez that he didn't have much interest in negotiating a fight for George Kambosos with Devin Haney and he cited that Devin Haney was an email champion. So since Devin Haney was an email champion, he had no interest in doing business with Eddie Hearn and the Zone. So he let us know that his main objective was to secure a fight with undefeated 3-division world champion superstar boxer Gervonta Tank Davis. But Gervonta Tank Davis, his promoter, legendary retired Hall of Fame iconic superstar boxer Floyd Money Mayweather, Mayweather Promotions, and CEO Leonard Ellerbe, that they had no interest in fighting George Kambosos Jr., and definitely not for those titles. So with that said, he was off the table. But Lou DiBella, he has another vested interest, is Richard Comey as his fighter. So he wanted, should Richard Comey won the fight, you would have seen George Kambosos Jr. and Richard Comey face off against one another. But Lomachenko beat Richard Comey, and so Lou DiBella is looking to make a deal with Vasily Lomachenko. So according to reports today, Lomachenko has agreed to fight George Kambosos' 2-fight deal over in Australia. What's interesting here is Bob Arum, Top Rank, they don't believe in rematch clauses, okay? And so with that said, that was a sticking point because George Kambosos Jr., he wants a rematch clause should he lose the fight, okay? He asked Devin Haney to go to Australia, but at the same time, he wants Devin Haney's side to put up the money that he's looking for. He told Devin Haney to sell his jewelry and his belongings to make sure he could put up the purse that he's looking for, okay? And Lou DiBella, he stated that they sent a contract over to Devin Haney, and the response was a egregious response. It was unbearable, the demands that they wanted. So they just turned their back on it. So he stated that we're done. He stated that Eddie Hearn was in the public eye, not telling the truth, and they're walking away from the Devin Haney fight. But there's a lot of interesting things going on and twists dealing with this entire situation. As we know, Robert Garcia, former world champion, now well-renowned trainer who's a friend of Lou DiBella, he let it be known that Lou DiBella called him a few weeks ago and thought that he was Robert Diaz of Golden Boy Promotions with rising upcoming Mexican superstar title contender King Ryan Garcia as a possible opponent after an interim fight for George Kambosos Jr. to fight Ryan Garcia, okay? So we know that Lou DiBella is not interested in dealing with Devin Haney. And so today it was reported that Devin Haney was off the table as Lomachenko agreed to a deal. Well, now they stated Devin Haney was pricing himself out. Okay, they couldn't come up with a number to satisfy Devin Haney, and so he was pricing himself out of this fight with George Kambosos Jr. Thus, the reason why George Kambosos Jr. has turned his sight and attention to fighting, you got it, Vasily Lomachenko. Okay, and Lomachenko signed his part to fight over in Australia. But again, it's pretty shocking that Bob Arum, who doesn't believe in rematch clauses, would give to George Kambosos a rematch clause. And get this, the rematch clause, the first fight has to take place in Australia as well as the second fight take place in Australia. So it's abundantly clear that George Kambosos Jr. is looking for, some pretty outrageous demands, okay? He wants the first fight to take place in Australia, but if Lomachenko wins, the second fight has to take place in Australia as well, okay? So with that said, Devin Haney has now countered that. And Devin Haney is stating, give me the same deal Lomachenko is taking, and I'll sign the contract tomorrow. Essentially calling their bluff, okay? Whatever you offer Vasily Lomachenko, and whatever that deal is, I'll take the same deal. And it will be more lucrative for you because guess what? I'm a world champion, okay? And now the legacy is on the line. So you have an opportunity to build up your legacy, and you can still fight Vasily Lomachenko next. Why? You beat Devin Haney, Lomachenko's going to become your WBO mandatory, and you still could fight Vasily Lomachenko next, okay? So with that said, now Devin Haney has countered it. He's let them know, Lou DiBella, George Kambosos Jr., and Eddie Hearn, give me the same deal that you gave Lomachenko, and I'll sign the contract tomorrow. Let's make it happen. So they stated that he was pricing himself out. He was being unreasonable in negotiations, that he was asking for too much money. He wasn't willing to bend. Okay, well now he stated, give me the same deal that you given Lomachenko, and I'll take that. Now let's see where George Kambosos, if he truly puts his money where his mouth is, as he stated that he knew he had to go through Devin Haney to be undisputed because he knows that that belt is not that he holds is a franchise title. It's not the official WBC title. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. He stated it's about legacy and it's about entertaining the fans. Well, the fans want to see undisputed. You'll create history. You'll be the 7th undisputed champion in history of sport of boxing to hold all 4 major sanctioned belts. Not to mention, you still could fight Lomachenko should you beat Devin Haney. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue. Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV. All one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Raw. Make sure you like and share the videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
Hi, my name is Heather Vahid Hardy, and you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.